Hello there, my beautiful friend, and welcome to this YouTube video specifically designed for you if you are hypermobile. And you're in the right place if you are a bendy, because I've written a book about hypermobility. I am hypermobile. I'm also a physio. I've treated many people with hypermobility, and I know some of the challenges that you face, particularly when you're in a yoga class. And today I'm going to share with you just a few little tips, a few little tricks within the context of a class to how you can tweak the practice to make it really sustainable in your body. So I'd like you to begin by coming down onto the mat and just taking a moment to settle into your breathing. And again, the most important thing I can share with you and with everybody who practices any kind of movement is please don't be afraid to let the belly move alongside the breath, because when you hold it in a rigid fixed shape and you breathe up into your chest, this actually reduces the amount of stability that's available. It is not weak to allow the diaphragm to move down into its full contraction. That provides a huge degree of stability. And this idea of always having to keep a tight core actually limits what the diaphragm can provide in terms of a more stable midsection of the body. So with your hands on your belly, really feel the expansion and feel how that smooth, deeper breath actually helps you feel calmer. Knowing that one of the major symptoms that hypermobile people face is anxiety, my top tip, this top starting point, is to learn how to relax your belly when you breathe. And it's not a sloppy, disconnected feeling, but rather just one that fluidly moves in conjunction with your breath. And after 2 or 3 breath cycles like this, already you'll start to feel your nervous system is more calm, more centered. And we're going to maintain that calm feeling as we move. We're going to just take a quick couple of breaths in child's pose as a reminder that this is a resting pose you can visit anytime. You don't need to do everything I share with you today. Particularly if you have hypermobility, you always want to listen to your body as you move through any class, because nobody knows more than you do about your body. Now let's take this up into downward dog, and what I'd like you to do is just have a little edge around in your body by bending and stretching, alternating legs. And instead of pushing the mat away with your hands and pushing the feet away, I want you to almost imagine the hands are pulling towards the feet and the feet are pulling towards the hands. And this will feel really intense. Now, at the same time as kind of almost rumpling up the middle of your mat, push the shoulders towards the ears. Many times we've been told to draw the shoulders away, but this actually disrupts your scapular humeral rhythm, the natural coordination of your arm bone and your shoulder blade. And hypermobile people really need that support of the musculature pushing gravity away. So you've got 2 intense things happening. 1, hands and feet are pulling towards each other. And 2, you're pressing the ground with your shoulders. So you've got a lot of core activation and a lot of shoulder activation. I'm going to take these little steps that you were doing with the legs forward now, one at a time, until you arrive at the top of your mat. You're going to let go of your neck, let go of your jaw and your face. And for a very brief moment in this class, you're actually going to let the surrender towards gravity take you. And I will remind you that one of the things you can do to really energize your practice is to resist gravity. Now, what we're going to do in this forward fold is 2 things. 1, we're actually going to work with gravity, but we're going to do it with power. So your hands are going to push towards the wall that your nose is pointing towards. And you're going to imagine that you're pushing that wall away. And you're going to hold it there very intensely for 5. You might feel your glutes. 4. You might feel your abs. 3. Keep pushing. 2. Pecs are on. And 1, and let go. Excellent. Now, the other way that we can work alongside gravity is to resist against it. So I'd like you to press your hands onto your legs, lift your chest up into a halfway spinal lift. And then you've got a couple of options. You can either keep fingers pointing towards the ground, towards the ears, or forward in front of you. So different levels of intensity there. Imagine you've got a big heavy backpack resting on you and you're trying to make sure that you are not letting it flop you in the direction of gravity. You're actually trying to resist against it. And again, you'll feel your booty start to, a little bit of fire there. Now let's resist so much that we stand all the way up. And then let's continue that resistance back into the half spinal lift. So we're just going to repeat that another 4 times. And you'll feel your booty will activate because this heavy backpack it's not taking any prisoners. It's hardcore heavy backpack. So you've really got to engage all of your postural muscles, all of your stability muscles to lift up against that mass, up until the last one. Wow. Good. How are you feeling? Tall and strong and elevated. Inhale, lift the arms up to the ceiling. And then exhale, keep that imaginary backpack on you as you this time go all the way down to your toes. So a little bit more activation at the bottom than you'd find in a regular practice. Palms are really strong now. Step back into your plank position. You're welcome to lower your knees down. I'm going to do a few push-ups here. And when you get to the top where your arms are straight, I want you to round your upper back a little bit. That might change on the way down. That's fine. But when you get to the top, again, little protraction through the shoulder blades. Again, just that extra little push, teaching our muscles to activate against gravity. Now, what you might find is as you lower down, you sink a bit like this. Really keep an eye that your hips stay in line with your shoulders on the way down and on the way up. Let's do that last and final rep. Down. And then on the push, round your spine. Well done. Take it again back into your child's pose. This time, instead of fully resting and disconnecting, I'd like you to shift backwards until the hands lift up. Now the arms are in front of you, so you'll feel that you've got a little bit of activation through the front and the back of the body to maintain this position. Maybe you want to adapt it by taking the arms out if that's too intense, or fingertips again to the ears. We're going to hold this for one more breath. And then coming down. Hips up into your downward facing dog. And when you get there, I'd like you to push the shoulders towards the ears and then suck the feet and the hands towards each other as if you're trying to curl up the middle of your mat. Holding it here 4 more. And smoothing out your breath, letting the belly move. Even when it's active, it still can move. 2 more. Well done. Now let's step the right foot forward between the hands and you're going to rise up into a big high lunge. A really nice strong high lunge feeling. The same energy that we had in downward dog where we were pulling in towards the middle of the mat. Replicate that here by imagining the heel and the toes are pulling into the middle of the mat. And watch when I do this, it looks like I'm lifting against gravity. Hold that intense lift and keep it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You've done absolutely amazing. Now, when we're in this position, you're going to maintain that same feeling of really drawing the feet in, but we're going to turn into a goddess position. So here, you can play with it. If you prefer to have your feet a little bit wider or a little bit closer, you don't have to go as low as me. But again, the energy is to draw in so that there's this feeling of lifting against gravity. Yeah, gravity is the name of the game today, huh? So keep that feeling of lift. Let's play around a little bit now with the heels lifting and lowering. So the heels are going to come up. And what's classic for most people, especially us bendies, is we collapse onto the little toe. We kind of collapse outwards. Ground into your big toe. It's big for a reason. And you want to really anchor it as the heels rise and lower. 3 more. 2 more. And then last one. You've done absolutely amazing. Now straighten out the legs and turn the feet in. So 2 things happen when we do yoga. As bendy people, we rely on the stickiness of the mat, and we also rely on holding onto something or pressing into the floor or hooking onto another body part. So we're going to take quite a classic yoga position now. It's the interlace of your fingers behind your back. We're going to start off rolling the shoulders back and down and just experiencing a normal wide-legged forward fold with interlaced fingers. And when you get here, what you're going to feel is you can just flop. You can just hang out. It's so easy for you. So instead of flopping, you're actually going to release your fingers away from each other. So you're trying to get the hands to connect, but you're not allowed to hold and grip. And so this sensation of the triceps firing up so intensely to move the hands towards each other, that's hopefully going to make you feel like, whoa, I can feel body parts I never knew I had. Stay there for a couple more breaths. Excellent. Okay, whoa, that's a lot on the arms. So bring them all the way down to your feet, create a little bend in the knees, and then engage as you roll up bone by bone, all the way into standing. You did so great. Well done. So turning the right foot forwards now, what we're going to do is our triangle pose. And as we know, triangle pose usually utilizes maybe a leg, a block, or the floor to perform this pose. And there is nothing wrong with that. But just to kind of give you that added feeling that your body is doing the work and nothing else is helping you, instead of relying on the floor, let's again practice a slight lift. That's it. And we can even take the arms like two train tracks beside the ears. Oh, that's really strong. Let's not hold this for too long. Excellent. Rotating the left knee down to the ground now. We're going to come into a half split. Now, I know you can probably do a full split, but what I want to do is challenge you to see if we can do two things. The first is with the hands beside your front leg, can you lift the front heel up? 5, and down. Try again. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good job. Now here comes the secret sauce. P.S. I don't mind if you can't do a full split, but you are going to explore going down just as low as your body allows. And I'm not particularly warm, maybe neither are you, so we're not going to go crazy. But instead of going down in our energy, we're going to press up out of our energy. And if I had to take my finger and poke your beautiful butt, I'd feel rock hard steel right now, okay? Feel the steel as you press away from gravity. 5 more. 4, look at your front quad. Is it on? 3, keep lifting. 2 more. And 1. Pulling back now, toe heel the right foot to the left hand. Bring the right knee down to the opposite side, and then just sink back into your pigeon. Now you might be like, this is my happy place, girl. What are you going to do to me to make me dislike pigeon? Well, we are going to make pigeon really hard. I am sorry. I know that pigeon's one of your favorites because it's one that we can just flop and just chill. But let's see if we can actually perform a pigeon with the arms lifting, back toes curling, maybe the back knee lifting. Can we hold and sustain this position? Yeah, it's really intense. And 1. Bring the fingertips down, the right hip. And yes, you can have a little stretch there. There's nothing wrong. You won't hurt yourself. But I do want you to feel that you can control the range of motion that you explore. So let's practice the same idea here in a wide-legged position. So ultimately, our hands go down and we can go all the way into a pancake, no problem. And so I'm going to encourage you now to bring the fingertips towards the ears, if that's comfortable for you, and maybe just explore leaning forward to where you think, I can control this quite well. Going forward to where you can control it, and then pulling back. We're going to try 4 more of these, maybe just going a little bit deeper every time, knowing that it doesn't matter how low you go, there's no prizes, but that you can control whatever range you are exploring. Yeah, it's great. It's empowering, right? Yeah, and if you are going lower and lower, good. And if you're not, that's okay too. That's perfect. You're just going to where your muscles have the strength to sustain your skeletal frame. Hands underneath the knees, bring your knees into your chest. Big breath, and just take a moment to chill. 1 hand on your belly, 1 hand on your chest, and feel that natural fluid motion of your breathing. Feel that you are in control of your breath, and that ultimately gives you a large degree of control over some of the erratic thoughts that hypermobile people often have to deal with. And that as your nervous system starts to settle and calm, you then start getting that excitement for the other side. Are we ready to do this? I'm going to turn to face this way so that when we turn into goddess, I can see you, but you turn whichever way you want. I'm going to guide you. We're back in our child's pose. Knees are closer, arms are stretched out in front. And instead of completely relaxing into the ground, we're going to lift the hands up 1 inch and we're going to notice the movement of the belly as we breathe. We're going to press those shoulder blades up towards the ears. Ooh, yeah, well done. You're awesome. 2 more. Okie dokie. Now bringing the hands down to the ground, lift the hips up into your downward facing dog. Have a little boogie, a little stretch. And then we're going to press the shoulders to the ears, but suck the heels, or I should say suck the toes and the heels of the hands towards each other. So you're like a little magnet. And yeah, you're not going to be the prettiest, most flexible downward dog in the world, but you are going to feel ultra, ultra strong. Okay, fantastic. Now from here, we're going to shift the shoulder blades forward and we're going to bend the knees down onto the ground. Instead of doing a bunch of push-ups like we did before, we're going to lower onto our bellies. Now, normally with the yoga practice, we do a chaturanga, a big up dog and a down dog, and those are fantastic. I love them. But just to kind of keep this idea of you doing the work and not the floor, reach the hands to the back of the room and then utilizing your back body, particularly these big glute muscles, lift the chest up so you're hovering and then bring the chest down and just repeat this a few times. Good, and if anything doesn't feel right, adapt it by either making it a bit smaller or a bit bigger, maybe changing where the intention of the movement is coming from, or even abandoning the movement altogether. You always want to do what feels good for your unique body. Okay, nicely done. And when you've done the last one, hands are going to push the way. And now you're going to use all those muscles you just activated, but in your up dog. Again, trying to draw the middle of the mat towards each other. Good. Roll backwards over your toes. Bring the left knee towards your chest. Step the foot forwards and come up into your beautiful high lunge where we're drawing the feet towards each other. Elevating the shoulders towards the ears. Keep that very powerful energy of toes and heels coming in. 4 more. And then ask yourself, if I had someone had to take a picture of my activation, what would we see? Yeah, we want to see rock hard buns of steel because obviously we know that those muscles are going to provide this feeling of lifting and support and stability. Okay, you have done it so incredibly well. I'm so proud of you. Let's turn this now into our goddess. Same energy, draw it all in. Good, lifting the heels and lowering using your big toes. And last one, well done. I'm so, so proud of you. As the heels come down, don't interlace the fingers. You're imagining you're going to do it, but they're not quite connecting. Toes turn towards each other, chest is going to fold forwards. Whoa, and you've got all this energy in your arms, all this energy down the back of your body, trying to sustain the arm position for as long as you can. Good. Now here I'm actually going to get you to do the opposite. You are going to lace the fingers. You are going to go into a stretch, but you're going to bend the elbows a tiny bit and you're going to focus on the shoulder blades squeezing together and away. And you're just going to repeat that shoulder blade motion together and away. Good. 2 more. And then we're going to draw the hands down to the floor, rolling up halfway. Instead of us going down all the way to the ground and just being floppy, let's do what we did earlier with a half spinal lift. And I'm going to get you guys to choose. You can either have your hands on your hips as you come up into a half spinal lift and rise. Fingertips by ears makes it a little bit harder, a little bit heavier. Or if you want to go for gold today, because you've done this class a few times, you know you can handle it. Let's see if we can add a bit more weight. It's almost like a good morning. If you ever go to the gym, you'll know that these are called good mornings, but we are mixing it up. We're making this with wide legs. So let's do 5. Oh, I feel my butt. Yeah, you too. If you're not feeling your butt, message me. Good. Let's rotate now all the way towards the left foot, bringing the right knee to the ground. We're coming into our half. Oh, before we do that, wait. Okay, last one. Next thing is our triangle pose. Now, your triangle pose might be a little bit smaller than someone else's, and that's totally okay. You can adapt the foot position to make it either harder or easier, depending on what you choose. We're going to slide the left hand down, Maybe it's on the thigh, maybe it's on the shin, right hand's up. And then you're going to see, if I had to do this without the bottom hand, how does that change things in the rest of the bod? And if I had to reach one arm in line with the ears, how does that change things? Maybe I stay here, or maybe I join me and we go all the way up 5. Notice there's still movement down here, but it's just a little bit less. Oh, guys, well done. Bringing yourself towards the front of your mat now. Bring the right knee to the ground. Left leg is going to extend in your half splits. We're going to lift this left foot up as you push your fingertips into the ground. And down. 4 more to go. And last one. You did excellently. We've got our splits coming up next. So you're going to extend through the legs. And I don't care if you're not going all the way down. You know, my body, I know that if I had to go all the way down now, it wouldn't be appropriate. Even though I have the range and I can explore that, I'm going to hang out here with you. And what I'm going to do, we're all together going to press away from gravity and see, can we lift? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm taking a picture of your butt and a picture of your front quad. How active are those muscles? Excellently done. Okay, we've got one more and then we're going to do our pigeon. Let's go for it. Excellent. Now, I don't want to say excellent again. Okay, let's bend. Left knee across. Curl the right toes. Lift up through the back leg. Fingertips reach. Press away from the ground. And then we're going to explore our pigeon just for a brief moment. This is absolutely safe. It's so, so good for your body. And what we just want to do every time we come into a new big, deep position is just give ourselves that thought process. If I didn't have the ground, and if I had to resist against a big backpack on my spine, and I had to lift up against gravity, would I be able to control that? Okay, so it's all these questions that you're asking yourself as a hypermobile person. Can I control the range that I have in my body? So let's do this one a little bit differently now. I'd like you to bring the sole of the foot in towards your inner thigh. And we're going to take a side stretch. That's it. And most people find that actually a side stretch is a really great one to go along with gravity. But what we're going to do is just do a little lift and a lower. So again, you'll notice that every time you repeat it, you gain a little bit more range, but because you have to come up out of it, you're controlling that range. And this is a great tip for hypermobile people. Go into your poses and then lift and lower out of them repeatedly to see what is your control like. Nice. And then we're going to switch a row, other side. Great. Now, one of the things that I should mention is that we practiced one arm position that's quite classic in the yoga tradition, and that was our interlaced fingers. We've got 2 more that I want to just kind of flag a little bit with you today. Let's do this last side stretch, and then let's have a go at practicing a reverse prayer. Now, reverse prayer ultimately is, again, quite a passive motion. We're utilizing the support of our back and the pressing of the hands together to maintain the shape. So what we're going to do is reach the arms out. We're going to rotate the thumb down towards the floor. And you're going to see if your hands can go near each other but without touching. And then you're going to take the hands back. And we're going to switch which hand is in front and which hand's behind you. And now I want you to do this twice more, but I want to see, can you get your thumb to go a little higher up towards the middle of your back? And it's not resting, but it's just sort of skimming so you have an idea of how high you went. Excellent. The last arm position that I want us to play with is a cow face. And so cow face, again, traditionally you hook the fingers behind your back and you're sort of passive. Sometimes we use a strap if people can't reach. So I want us to practice this, but again with an active energy. So I'm going to turn to face the back. You're going to imagine again that the hands are going very near each other, but aren't fully connecting. And I don't mind how far you go. Maybe the hands don't go anywhere near each other. Doesn't matter. Just go to your maximum and then rotate away. Just letting the hands naturally turn as they arrive into their new position. Maybe the fingertips gently skim each other. And 2 more. And last one. Wow, the side for me is the tight one. Thank you so much for joining me on this class. It's been such a pleasure sharing all of this knowledge that I have in my head with you. I do know I sometimes get a bit overexcited and I talk too much. So let me know in the comments if you want to do more yoga for hypermobility, but with less instruction. I'll be happy to adapt for you. And of course, hit that like button if you enjoyed this class. Until next time, my friends, I'll see you soon.